Good morning, friends, YouTubers. This is the morning of August 6th, 2019. This is the day we commemorate the first use of an atomic weapon against humans against themselves, a suicidal move. I know that when you're down in there as a human, mixing it up, it's us versus them. It's we against them, it's good versus bad, it's good versus evil. And the Japanese, there was sanctions there too, by the way, in terms of the great way to spark an empire is to almost strangle somebody, and then they come back and they're an empire because they felt what it's like. So I think the smart move after World War II was to stop trying to strangle Germany, let Germany prosper. And I think that's the same lesson that needs to be applied across the board. Let every place prosper if there's a way. And sometimes there is a way, but it's deliberately stymied. It's like, no, no, the goal is to not let this place prosper. We don't care if there's a way. So this is the boyhood home of Linus Pauling in 2019. So there's a new and interesting painting on the Canon building, we can call it. They repair photocopiers and so on. It's meant to match the decor of the middle house, which is now called Adorn, a body art studio. This alpha helix in the front is by Julian. He's a sculptor, very well known, Vos Andreas. You can check out his website. And then there's the Fred Meyer in the background, which is part of the Kroger chain, a chain that stretches across North America. And this is Hawthorne Boulevard in front of the Linus Pauling house, and is named for Dr. Hawthorne, who was the first administrator, caretaker. I don't know. I haven't done all the research of his on what his exact daily duties were and how it looked, but he ran the first mental hospital here in Portland for the state of Oregon. So, and Oregon is kind of known for its mental hospital because of Ken Kesey and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, right? So, hold on a second, I'm going to pause. I guess that worked. I was just trying to hit pause, but on to segment 2. So that's the Linus Pauling house, and Linus, he's famous for talking frankly and openly about the true health effects of all this atomic testing and doing radioactive stuff in the environment willy-nilly, not just talking about annihilating the cities or the islands or whatever, but just in general, there was a price to be paid, and they weren't going to tell you. I don't know for how long they were planning to keep it secret. Like, there was kind of a conspiracy of silence to not like talk about the true issues, the science, right? It's not that hard. It's just that stuff is fragile and atoms are not forever. Some of them don't last, but you can make them quickly in big explosions, and then they go around disintegrating all around you. And it's what we call fallout. And people know about this. It's not a big secret. I'm not telling you any secrets in this video. I'm just telling you the basic science that we can get in high school. And you can get on the web, and that's what we're studying here in the School of Tomorrow. So this is a curriculum that I threw together to help somebody in the post-nuclear bomb age, after the fiasco of creating this radioactive environment that we will always have now. The question is, how do we deal with it? And next show and tell item. First of all, here's the play about Bucky, History and Mystery of the Universe by D.W. Jacobs in Polish. And it's a popular play in Poland. I was going to mention Poland here sooner or later. Okay, this is a book. It's called At Work in the Fields of the Bomb. Now, we could do a lot more on YouTube just showing the scale, scope, and size of the problem that we have to deal with, right? In terms of keeping this stuff from getting everywhere and all that, it's going to take forever, right? And so, good to get started on that. So this is a first work in that genre, but I'm watching YouTube for more. Space Alert. This is just the kind of um, literature that we sometimes get here in Portland as members of Global Network Against Weapons and Nuclear Power in Space. Again, it's about safety. It's not really about good guys and bad guys. It's like, we're humans smart enough to not annihilate themselves, because that's how we'll see it, right? It's not the good guys won, the bad guys lost. It's just humans were not really a good design, and we see from the Bible that the deity does have his qualms, right? He almost wipes us out a couple times. That's kind of the Gnostic approach, right? The Gnostic Gospels, Carl Jung curated those to some degree. And the premise there is of indeed an amateur god unhappy with their experiment. Sort of Sorcerer's Apprentice story, Mickey Mouse. We have a Mickey Mouse world. And, it could be. But we want it to work, and we're seeing strategies that could make it work, and, with what we have technology-wise. And I was just talking about the role of truckers in this story, since they get out and about, right? They're the travelers, and they have heavy duty, they have things to carry. They're not just tourists, you could say. Now, I don't want to say just tourists as if that's not a good thing. Tourist to me is someone on a tour of duty. And you can work as a tourist. You can do some dishes. Like, there's jobs you could click into if we had it set up. So it's not just about, and we do this. There are these systems exist where you can basically bop about and do labor, but it's mostly geared for quite young people. And that's not just for reasons of health. It's for reasons of you have more freedoms as a person. I always think of it as jumping out of an airplane in a parachute. You've got a wider range to aim for the higher you are, and there's some analogy there. I won't push it too far. I'm not going to tell you how life is because, I'm just some dude. But what I do want to do is commemorate August 6th and say we take it seriously as a time to think hard about how we're going to deal with the consequences of what we've already done. We're not hoping to commit more great mistakes, right? That's not our plan. We're not sitting here saying, gee, how can we blow up more? How can we get more atoms out there taking time bombs? How can we do that? It's like, no, but we do want to deal with the ones we have already let loose. So that's kind of Linus Pauling House theme, I would say, just because of who he was and what he talked about, right? Let's see if I thought I had more pictures of him. Let's just look at a couple Linus Pauling pictures so you know who I'm talking about. He got the Nobel Prize twice. Ava Helen, he's married to Ava Helen, and she was a member of WILF, the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, which my mom is also I'm a member actually, so yeah, that's the guy. And I never met him. We didn't overlap like that. I just happened to live in a neighborhood that his boyhood home was in, and when his dad died, his mom kind of made it into a boarding house, a rooming house, I gather. And he studied chemistry in the basement of that house, is how the story goes. There's been TV specials on this guy. How much we actually know about what it was like living in that house. I'm not the expert, just because I go and meet there every week. But interesting guy, and the point of telling his story is to say, here on August 6th of 2019, we still need the curriculum of tomorrow. And this is just, you know, I'm showing off Jupyter notebooks because I'm saying this is the kind of surface people need to get their work done. We can't just get by with calculators. And that means everybody needs a personal workspace, which is something I take up in general systems theory, as I call it, but I'm just resurrecting something. A lot of disciplines. When I came around this graveyard, it was like, wow, cybernetics looks pretty dead. No one's really going to go with that, are they? It's like some great new disciplines had just been hatched, and then they kind of weren't being used, it didn't seem. So general systems theory, it seemed ready to continue on a track. Kenneth Boulding had left it there sitting in the station like he's a Quaker writer. But anyway, general systems theory looked prime for picking up, and I've put it kind of in competition with economics because I think economics needs competition as a discipline. And so we can talk about that. But all right, so let's call this one a day. I will be going to a ceremony this evening, as far as I know, and taking pictures. I'm charging the battery, taking Carol down at the waterfront. But this is the morning of that day. I haven't done anything like that at the moment. So talk to you soon.